It's such a wonderful practice, a wonderful experience to be present in the heart, in our heart center, to be present with our emotions, but also to be present with that physical space of the heart and the energy of the heart center. We're going to work with that a little bit in the practice today, connecting with our heart. And it's interesting how that doesn't happen so much for people on a regular basis. Our world is pretty mind and thought centered, and our inner worlds tend to be the same. And we all know the relief and the richness of being present to ourselves in a more heart centered way. The moments of joy and happiness don't really come from the head or from thinking so much. It's more of an experience that we feel in our whole body, and we feel emotionally, and we feel in the heart center. And it's not just joy in the heart center, of course. There's also pain and hurt, a lot of other emotions that are not so comfortable for us to be present with. And when we shut those out, we tend to also not pay attention to the happiness and to the joy that's here. And happiness is one of those interesting experiences that doesn't rely on external events, although it's closely tied to it. We can have a sense of happiness or joy or well being that's internal and that's not so much shaken by what's happening outside. And of course, events that are happening in our world do create and stimulate emotion. The way it works isn't linear. There's energy and feelings and all of those messy things. When we tune into happiness and joy, we have a response to those words and a response to the experience of that. When we tune into the heart center, that area in the middle of the chest, not exactly our physical heart, it's more of an energetic heart center. We might notice a lot of different things. Sometimes it's pretty hard even to access that point. That area of the body can seem kind of empty at times. So, this looking, this inquiry will really just be to see what it is that's happening moment to moment. And energy and feelings and thoughts about that are all momentary experiences. They come and they go and they shift. So, we're not expecting to find something static. Let's broaden our awareness for a moment to the whole of our body. Notice what it feels like in your body from head to toes. When we're concerned or worried about something, we often have a contraction in the forehead. That might be from a present worry, or it might just be kind of a hangover from whatever was coming before. We have such habits in our bodies. So notice what's happening in your forehead, your eyebrows, your eyes. See if you can allow that to soften. And notice your jaw, your mouth, your tongue, your vocal cords. Let that whole area of speech be at rest. If you have a habit of being tight in the jaw, let's see if you could allow that to soften and come off guard for a bit. We don't need to speak. We don't need to watch ourselves. We don't need to hold back. There's nothing going on with speech right now. So we could allow that area to soften. And notice your neck and shoulders, the large muscles of the upper back. We might notice that we have a habit of holding our shoulders up towards the ears, and when we soften those muscles, they can settle down. The shoulders move a bit away from the ears. And bring your attention to the back of your body energetically. Notice if there's any kind of a shield, a protection, an energy there that is meant to keep other people out, keep danger out. And we're trying to meet whatever it is that's in our experience with a neutrality and noticing. If we have a shield that's operational a lot of the time, it's because we feel like we need it. And that's okay. If we need to be protecting ourselves in some manner, then that's what we need to do. It's good that we can. And notice if that's something that you need right in this moment, or if again it's a habitual carryover from when we're out in the world, from an hour ago or 50 years ago. Just notice if you need that protection right now. And notice if it feels safe enough to relax. Let that shield dissolve, let it go off duty for a bit. And bring your attention to the front of your chest and your stomach, particularly the muscles of the stomach and the energy in the gut. Can also have that held, kind of a sense of habitual contraction. As you're taking some deeper breaths, see if you could allow that whole area to soften. Let your breath be free. And we include our arms and hands, our legs and feet in our attention, noticing that we're not moving through the world right now. We're not needing to engage in an active way with arms and legs. So those could also rest. And then coming back to this specific attention on the heart center. Cover your heart center with your hand on the front. Notice how your hand feels warm. You can feel that warmth. Breathe, notice that area. And bring your attention back to the center of your body, just behind your hand. Notice your experience there in the center of your body, 2 or 3 inches behind your hand. And then bring your attention back a little bit farther to the back of your body, that area between your shoulder blades. Notice that area. You might feel the pressure of your back on the chair or the floor, perhaps. But we all know how to tune in to different areas in our body just with our mind. Our attention knows exactly where that location is. So on the front, we have the warmth of the hand. On the back, we have the area of the upper back between the shoulder blades. There's a bit of movement peripheral to the heart center. We might feel the lower ribs moving with the breath. And in your mind, see if you can mentally connect the front, where your hand is, the warmth of your hand, through the center to the back. Notice that that's all one space. You might have a visual component to this noticing. There might be a ball of light or a tube of light or something connecting the two areas. There's the energy or kinetic kind of feeling of it. Notice your experience without wanting it to be different or wanting something that's not there. Notice what is here. And notice if it feels fairly easy to do this, if it feels like your attention keeps wandering off somewhere, if there's some frustration. We could also notice the area and the space all around the heart center. If there's sensation in the heart center or if there's a lack of sensation in the heart center. Bring your attention just above it. Notice how far up that extends. Does it go up into your upper chest? Or is there something a little bit different happening there? Is it up into your throat? We're not so much noticing words and pictures at the moment. We're really looking at the energy and the experience of paying attention. We'll come to the words and images in a minute, though. Notice just on an energetic level, what's your experience just above the heart center, to the front and the back of it? So in the front, we can feel the warmth of our hand if we tune back into that. In the back, we might have that shield, that energy of the back, or we might have nothing. It might be relaxed back there. Just notice what your experience is right in this moment. And also notice what's happening below the heart center. We get into the stomach and the navel center. That energy often feels quite different than the heart center energy. Very slowly bring your attention downward. Notice when that energy shifts and it's no longer heart center energy, now it's the energy of the gut. Is there a space in between? Is there a kind of a diffusing of one and then an entry of another? What's your experience with that? And come back to the space of your heart center. Notice the whole area from the rib cage at the front and the rib cage at the back and at the sides, the diaphragm below, the upper chest above. Notice the whole area. What does it feel like? How much space does your heart center have? If we find our attention is wandering off, we can always focus again on relaxing our body, working with the breath. We can notice the space all around. And if it feels okay, we can put our attention directly in there. Notice the location and notice what's happening in that area. Notice the whole space between the hand and the ribcage at the front, and that area between the shoulder blades at the back, and any energy in and around that area. And if there's any energy in the very back of the body, notice the qualities of it, what it feels like. Is it contracted or is it holding something back? What's going on with that energy and why does it need to be here right now? And let words and images just rise to the surface and have a look. It might be memories, it might be an image of the sensation. Keep in touch with your breath and with the energy just behind the heart center. What is it that you need to know, that you need to have in your awareness? And notice how far in from the back this energy comes. If you're feeling an energy back there, can you feel it for an inch or 2 inches? Is it crowding the heart center? What's happening with that energy behind the heart center? If anything, we're not all going to have the same experience at every moment. Notice the whole of your back, the back of the neck, the shoulders, all of those large muscles of the back. Notice if there's any activation there, any numbness perhaps. Notice your heart center again, what's happening in that location. Tune into the hand on the heart, or bring your hand up to the heart in for a moment if you have left. If you've brought it down, just bring your hand back to that and notice that warmth. Notice what it feels like when we tune in like this to the heart center. Notice if there's anything that the heart center itself would like to reveal. And if it feels okay to attend to that energy directly, do that. What does the heart center need you to know? And set your intention to come back to this practice, to attend and tune in to what's happening in the heart center through the day, tomorrow, through the rest of your life, really, to be open to what it might want us to know. And then when you're ready, open your eyes.